So, good morning, everyone. My name is Arafat. I teach history on the textbook platform. So, in this session, let us spend some time discussing the previous year questions asked by UPSC from the topic from Buddhism. That's the point. So, in this session, let us spend some time discussing about the question from the topic. Just a minute. Fine. So let us discuss the topics from that is the previous year questions asked by UPSC from this particular topic, that is Buddhism. So uh, the the aspirants, they should make it a point to go through the previous year questions, particularly those questions asked by UPSC, and this exercise will help the aspirants in identifying the areas from which UPSC is asking questions, and this will also enable the aspirants to guess as to which topics UPSC may ask questions in the future. That's the point. Now let us spend some time discussing about these questions. So take a look at the first question. Take a look at the first question. So which one of the following describes best the concept of nirvana in Buddhism? So before we attempt this question, let us understand the meaning of the term nirvana as used in Buddhism. Nirvana in Buddhism, uh, is similar to like the concept of moksha mentioned in Hinduism. So moksha is basically an end to this cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. The concept of moksha is central to Hinduism. What does moksha mean? Moksha, in simple terms, means an end to the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. So in Hinduism, it is mentioned that the body is temporary, whereas the soul is permanent. And this soul, according to the Hindu philosophy, according to the Hindu text, the soul keeps taking birth after birth. And the best way, the point is, according to the Hindu text, the soul is permanent, the body is temporary, and this soul, depending on the deeds an individual may have done in one's janma, keeps taking birth after birth, is something which is mentioned in the Hindu texts. So the point is, the concept of moksha and the concept of nirvana are almost similar. Nirvana in Buddhism also means an end to this cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Then what does the concept of nirvana in Buddhism mean? So Buddha emphasized on, the point is, Buddha declared that the best way to achieve nirvana is to have as less desires as possible. So basically, Buddha declared that the best way to achieve nirvana is to end the desires. And Buddha argued that anyone who ends the desires or who keeps their desires in control uh, will be in a position to end their sorrow, end their dukkha, and anyone who succeeds in ending their dukkha automatically achieves nirvana. is something which was emphasized by Buddha in his teachings. Let me repeat this point once again. What does the concept of nirvana in Buddhism mean? Basically, Buddha argued that an individual's aim should be to achieve nirvana in one's own lifetime. But Buddha emphasized that the best way to achieve nirvana is to end desires. Buddha declared that anyone who who ends desires, who who succeeds in keeping their desires in control, will succeed in ending their sorrow or dukkha, and anyone who succeeds in ending their sorrow automatically stand a chance to achieve nirvana. So basically, four statements were given in this particular question. Take a look at these statements. Statement A. So basically, which of the following describes best the concept of nirvana in Buddhism? Statement A. The extinction of the flame of desire. Statement 2. Statement B. The complete annihilation of the self. Annihilation means destruction. Buddha never encouraged people to destroy themselves. Buddha never spoke about destruction of oneself. Rather, Buddha emphasized on keeping one's desires in control. That's the point. So definitely statement B is not the right one. Take a look at statement C. A state of bliss and rest. Of course. So the outcome of nirvana is a state of bliss and rest. It is true. Take a look at statement D. A mental state beyond all comprehension. So to some extent, statement D also describes the outcome of the concept of the outcome of nirvana. That is, an individual, once they achieve nirvana, this is what would happen to individuals once they achieve nirvana. But the point is, the question is about which of the following describes best the concept of nirvana. What describes the concept of nirvana? What, according to Buddhism, is the concept of nirvana? Nirvana in Buddhism means keeping one's desires in control so that they will not have any suffering. Buddhism emphasized that any individual who keeps their suffering in control stand a chance to get nirvana. So, of all the four statements, statement A is the right statement. Statement A, it tries to correctly captures the meaning of the term nirvana as mentioned in Buddhism. So the right answer for this question is the extinction of the flame of desire. So this question was asked in 2013, about 10 years ago. This question came in UPSC examination. Take a look at the second question. So this question was asked twice. Once it was asked in 2014 prelims, it was also asked in 2015 prelims. That's the point. So usually UPSC does not repeat questions, but this time verbatim it ended up asking the same question. Take a look at this question. Which of the following kingdoms were associated with the life of Buddha? Which of the following kingdoms were associated with the life of Buddha? So before we attempt this question, let us discuss a few details relating to Buddha. So Buddha was born in 563 BC and he lived till 483 BC. So Buddha was born in 563 BC, lived up to 483 BC, that is, he lived up to 80 years of age. He died at the age of 80. So Buddha is a Kshatriya. Buddha is basically a prince. He belonged to a kingdom known as Kapila Vastu. Kapila Vastu, a kingdom located in Indo-Nepal border region. So, but the point is, the birth name of Buddha is Siddhartha, the birth name of Buddha is Siddhartha, but after enlightenment, Siddhartha began to be referred to as Buddha. So the point is, around 29 years of age, that is when Siddhartha was around 29 years of age, or exactly at 29 years of age, Siddhartha uh, uh, Siddhartha left the worldly life. He discarded the worldly life and became a sannyasi. Basically, at 29 years of age, Siddhartha, the prince of Kapilavastu kingdom, discarded the worldly life and became a sannyasi. And at 35 years of age, that is when Siddhartha was 35-year-old, he is said to have got enlightenment. So Siddhartha at 35 years of age is said to have got his enlightenment. That's the point. So it was after enlightenment that Siddhartha began to be referred to as Buddha. After enlightenment, at 35 years of age, Siddhartha began to be referred to as Buddha. Buddha itself means the enlightened one. The meaning of Buddha itself means the enlightened one. I hope I am clear. So the point is, Buddha lived till 80 years of age. He died at the age of 80. From the time he got his enlightenment, that is at 35, till the time of his death at 80 years, Buddha is said to have traveled different parts of Indo-Gangetic basin, and Buddha is said to have delivered sermons throughout his life. That is, right from the time he got his enlightenment at 35 years till the time of his death at 80 years, Buddha is said to have traveled different parts of Indo-Gangetic basin and is said to have delivered sermons. Sermons, basically, these are the teachings of Buddha. That's the point. So the question is, in the Buddhist text, there are many references to the various kingdoms visited by Buddha. You understand this point? In the Buddhist text, there are various references to the kingdoms visited by Buddha, but these Buddhist texts mostly mention those kingdoms of North India, particularly the kingdoms that are located, that were located in present-day Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. So basically, Buddhist text gives details relating to the kingdoms visited by Buddha, but those kingdoms visited by Buddha were mostly located in Uttar Pradesh and Bihar. That's the question. So around 600 BC, that is in the 6th century BC, there were 16 big size kingdoms in India. There were 16 large kingdoms in India. There were 16 large kingdoms in India. That was in 600 BC, there were 16 large kingdoms in India. Of these 16 kingdoms, 4 were located in Bihar. Two point. About 6 kingdoms were located in present-day Uttar Pradesh. So one kingdom was located in Rajasthan. 2 kingdoms were located in Madhya Pradesh. That's the point. And 2 kingdoms were located in the present-day Pakistan and Afghanistan. And 1 kingdom was located to the south of the Vindhyas. So the whole point which I am trying to convey is, there were 16 kingdoms, particularly large-sized kingdoms in India in the 6th century BC. Of the 16 kingdoms, 10 were located in Bihar and UP, and the remaining 6 were located in other parts of Indian subcontinent. 1 in Rajasthan, 2 in Madhya Pradesh, 2 in the present day Pakistan and Afghanistan, and 1 in the southern part of India. I hope I am clear. So the point is, this question, even if you know only this much information, and when you know which kingdom was located in UP and Bihar, the aspirants would not find difficult in attempting this question. So basically, Gandhara, of the 16 kingdoms I told you, of the 16 kingdoms, 10 were located in UP and Bihar, and mostly many of these 10 kingdoms were visited by Buddha. Take a look at this statement here. So 4 options are given. Which of the following kingdoms were associated with the life of Buddha? One is Avanti. Avanti was one of the 16 kingdoms located in Madhya Pradesh. So I told you Buddha mostly visited the kingdoms located in UP and Bihar. Here we have the name of a kingdom, that is Avanti, which was located in MP. So this cannot be the answer. Gandhara, on the other hand, is a kingdom located in northwest part of the Indian subcontinent. It is in present day Pakistan, Afghanistan region. This kingdom was located. So definitely this also cannot be the answer. Kosala, on the other hand, take a look at the third option. Kosala was a kingdom which was located in UP. And in Buddhist text, we have numerous references to Buddha visiting the kingdom of Kosala to deliver his sermons. In Buddhist text, we get many references to Buddha visiting the kingdom of Kosala to deliver his sermons. So 3, it must be the answer. Take a look at the 4, Magadha. Magadha is a very prominent kingdom located in Bihar at a point. So, in fact, Buddha is said to have visited Magadha kingdoms. This information we get to know from the Buddhist text. Buddha is said to have visited Magadha kingdom many times. In fact, Buddha was a contemporary of 2 prominent Magadha rulers. One is Bimbisara. Bimbisara is a Magadha ruler, that is a ruler of the Magadha kingdom. And after Bimbisara, his son Ajatashatru became next ruler. Ajatashatru. So both of them are basically, that is Bimbisara and Ajatashatru, are basically the rulers belonging to Magadha dynasty. And both of them, the father and son duo, that is Bimbisara and Ajatashatru, are said to have lived during the time of Buddha. So basically, Bimbisara and Ajatashatru are happen to be the contemporaries of Buddha. So in fact, there are numerous evidences to suggest that both of them, Bimbisara and Ajatashatru, also met Buddha on many occasions. So we have evidence to say that Buddha did visit Kosala many times to deliver sermons. In fact, the Kosala ruler who was a contemporary to Buddha was a ruler by name Prasenajit. So the ruler of Kosala, who is also a contemporary to Buddha, is a ruler by name Prasenajit, who is also found mentioned in the Buddhist text. I hope I am clear. So the point is, definitely Buddha, we do not have any evidence to prove that Buddha anytime visited Madhya Pradesh. We also do not have any evidence to prove that Buddha anytime visited northwest part of the Indian subcontinent. But we have evidence to say that Buddha definitely visited the kingdom of Kosala. He also visited the kingdom of Magadha numerous times. We get this evidence from the various texts belonging to the 6th century BC, including some Buddhist text. So what's the answer here? So the answer should invariably include 3 and 4. So the answer here is C, 3 and 4. In fact, this question was asked in 2015 and 14. So kindly remember that we have evidence to prove that Buddha mostly preached in the present day Uttar Pradesh and Bihar and not beyond. We have no evidence to prove Even the point that Buddha anytime visited Rajasthan, Madhya Pradesh, or any other part of India, mostly he preached in both of these territories, Bihar and present day UP. So if you know the location of these 16 kingdoms of the 6th century BC, you should still be in a position to attempt this particular question. The answer. So the answer is C, that is 3 and 4 is the right answer. And this question was asked twice, once in 2014 and again in 2015. So someone asked whether I can explain the same in Hindi. This being an English medium class, so I cannot explain in Hindi. You have dedicated Hindi sessions in which uh, questions will be explained in Hindi as well. At a point. So you have bilingual sessions, but this is purely an English medium session. Fine. Fine. Take a look at the other question. In ancient Indian Buddhist monasteries, a ceremony called Pavarana used to be held. The question is, what is this term Pavarana called? So the point is, in ancient Indian Buddhist monasteries, a ceremony called Pavarana used to be held. It was the. So what is Pavarana? That's the question. So basically, uh, the 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 Buddhist church is called as Sangha. The Buddhist congregation is referred to as Sangha. Basically, Sangha is a Buddhist church. So the Sangha comprises of monks. It also comprises of nuns. Male monks are called as basically the male sannyasis who were the members of a Sangha were referred to as monks or the monks. Women, they are referred to as the nuns. Basically, these are men, these are women. The point. So let me repeat this point once again for you. Sangha is a congregation of Buddhist monks and the nuns. The monks in Buddhism were referred to as a bhikshu. The monks in Buddhism were referred to as a bhikshu, and the nuns in Buddhism were referred to as a bhikshuni. Bhikshu and bhikshuni. So bhikshu are basically men, bhikshuni are basically women. I hope I am clear. So the point is the bhikshu and bhikshuni, that is the members of Sangha, were required, this institution of Sangha existed to propagate the teachings of Buddha among the people. The institution of Sangha existed to propagate the teachings of Buddha among the people. And usually the members of Sangha lived in Buddhist monasteries. The members of Sangha, that is the monks and the nuns, lived in the Buddhist monasteries. The point is, the members of Sangha used to continuously travel for about 8 months in a year. The members of Sangha, that is the monks and the nuns, used to travel for about 8 months in a year to propagate the teachings of Buddha. So basically, the monks and the nuns were continuously traveling for 8 months to propagate their teachings, or they were very, they were busy during the 8 months in a year, and during these 8 months in a year, they were busy propagating the teachings of Buddha. But during 4 months of the monsoon season, during the 4 months of the monsoon season, they were taking rest. That is, the members of Sangha, they were taking rest. So they were not moving out during the 4 months of the monsoon season to propagate the teachings of Buddha. So the point is, after the end of these 4 months of rainy season, the members of Sangha began to perform a ceremony known as a Pavarana ceremony. So 4 months of rainy season, they were not going anywhere out. But at the end of these 4 months of rainy season, the members of Sangha were performing, they were performing a ceremony known as the Pavarana ceremony. So this Pavarana ceremony is basically a ceremony of Buddhist confessions. It is a ceremony of confessions by the monks. So after this ceremony, that is after the Pavarana ceremony, the monks used to confess to the mistakes they have done during their stay of 4 months within the Buddhist monasteries. So basically, the Buddhist monks, after the completion of this ceremony, were no, they were confessing to the mistakes they had done or the mistakes they might have committed during their 4 months of stay in the monasteries, and they were confessing to their mistakes with the they were confessing to their mistakes to the other members of the sangha. So one monk confessing to his crimes to the other monk. Up to point. And after the confession, these monks were also, uh, there was also a healthy criticism for the mistakes committed by these monks was also allowed. One hand, the monks were confessing to their crimes. On the other hand, a healthy criticism to the mistakes committed by these monks was also allowed. So basically, this was a ceremony which was performed at the end of the 4 months of this rainy season retreat. And this ceremony in Buddhism is referred to as the Pavarana ceremony. Now take a look at the statements that were given, the statements that were asked for this particular question. So in ancient Buddhist monasteries, a ceremony called Pavarana used to be held. What is this Pavarana? That's the question. Take a look at statement A. Occasion to elect a Sangha Parinayaka. Sangha Parinayaka is basically the head of the Sangha. Occasion to elect Sangha Parinayaka and two speakers, one on Dhamma and the other on Vinaya. So basically, I just explained to you the meaning of the term Pavarana. So basically, statement A is not the right explanation. Take a look at the second statement. Statement B. Confession by monks of their offenses committed during their stay in the monasteries during the rainy season. So basically, statement B is the right option because statement B it correctly describes the meaning of the term Pavarana. Take a look at the statement C as well. Ceremony of initiation of a new person into the Buddhist Sangha in which the head is shaved and when yellow robes were offered. So basically, whenever a new individual takes admission into Sangha, that new admission was given to an individual after performing a ceremony known as a Pabajja ceremony. So a ceremony was performed known as a Pabajja ceremony, Pabajja. So it is after the completion of this ceremony that admission to new individuals was given in the Sangha. That is Buddhist Sangha. So the point is, Pabajja means the shaving of the head, as well as after the completion of the shaving of the head. So the new entrants, the one who had taken admission into Sangha, were also offered yellow color robes. That ceremony indeed existed, but that ceremony is referred to as a Pabajja ceremony and not Pavarana ceremony. That's the point. Take a look at statement D. Gathering of the Buddhist monks on the day of full moon day, gathering of the Buddhist monks on the next day, to the full moon day of Ashada, when they take up fixed abode for the next 4 months of rainy season. In fact, this is what I just explained. The Buddhist monks used to go out to propagate the teachings of Buddhism, and they continued with this practice for about 8 months and taking rest only during 4 months of rainy season. So it is true that the Buddhist monks on the next day to the full moon day of Ashada Masa, they began. So the point is this this day, basically uh, the day after the full moon day of Ashada is basically the beginning of the rainy season, is basically the beginning of the monsoons. It is true that from that day onwards and the next 4 months, the monks used to take rest for 4 months. And this resting period in Buddhism is referred to as Vasa, and it has nothing to do with Pavarana. So Pavarana basically means confessions by the Buddhist monks. So by the way, you also have to know the meaning of Pabajja. Pabajja is basically initiation of a new person into the Buddhist Sangha. Vasa is a period of rainy season retreat. Vasa is basically a period of rainy season retreat. Kindly remember these two meanings as well. That's the third question. So the answer for this question is neither A nor C nor D. The answer is B. This was asked way back in 2002, 20 years ago, but this is important. So take a look at another question. Lord Buddha's image is sometimes shown with hand gesture called Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. What does it symbolize? That's the question. Take a look at the question once again. Lord Buddha's image is sometimes shown with the hand gesture called Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. What does it symbolizes? That is, it symbolizes. What does it symbolize? That's the question. So before we understand this question, let us understand a few details relating to this Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. So basically, Buddha is said to have got enlightenment after 49 days of continuous meditation. Buddha got enlightenment at the age of 35. I just discussed this point with you. But Buddha is said to have got his enlightenment after 49 days of continuous meditation. It is said that on the 49th day, that Buddha, that is after 49 days of continuous meditation, Buddha is said to have opened his eyes and declared to the entire world that he had got enlightenment. And this event is described in the Buddhist literature as Sambodhi. Sambodhi or Nirvana. Sambodhi or Nirvana. I hope I am clear. So the whole point which I am trying to convey is Buddha got his enlightenment at 35 years of age. That is when he was 35-year-old. So Buddha is said to have got his enlightenment after 49 continuous days of meditation. It is mentioned in the Buddhist literature that a demon by name Mara is said to have tried to disturb the meditation of Buddha or Siddhartha. Let me repeat this point once again for you. It is written in the Buddhist text that a demon by name Mara, M-A-R-A, is said to have tried to disturb this meditation of Buddha in many ways. For example, Buddha is said to have sent, I'm extremely sorry. For example, Mara is said to have sent his 3 beautiful daughters to seduce Buddha. Let me once again explain to you the same point once again. So the point is Buddha is said to have got his enlightenment after 49 continuous days of meditation. But it is mentioned in the Buddhist texts that a demon by name Mara is said to have tried to disturb the meditation of Buddha. Mara is said to have tried to disturb the meditation of Buddha in many ways. For example, Mara is said to have sent his three very beautiful daughters to seduce Buddha. But the point is, nothing could disturb Buddha. And on the 49th day of meditation, Buddha is said to have opened his eyes and declared to the world that he had got his enlightenment. The point is, uh, it is written in the Buddhist text that demon tried to disturb, but it failed to disturb, or it failed to distract Buddha from his meditation. This is what is mentioned in Buddhist text. So after enlightenment, that is after opening his eyes on the 49th day, Buddha is said to have called earth to witness his chastity and purity despite the temptations of Mara. So in Buddhism, Buddha is depicted in various mudras. So for example, the most common mudra in which Buddha is depicted is Abhaya Mudra. So Buddha is also depicted in one more mudra known as a Dhamma Chakra Mudra. One more very common mudra in which Buddha is depicted is a Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. Take a look at this picture. So this mudra in which Buddha is depicted is referred to as Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. Okay, point. So this mudra, the point is, in this mudra, Buddha is shown touching his fingers to the earth. Then what does this Bhumi Sparsha Mudra symbolize in Buddhism? This Bhumi Sparsha Mudra, the point is, it symbolizes Buddha calling the earth to witness his chastity and purity despite the temptations of Mara. I told you, Mara, the demon, tried to disturb Buddha in many ways, but it failed. To symbolize that particular aspect, Buddha is depicted in this particular mudra. I hope I am clear. So this is a very, very common mudra. It is on this particular point. A question once came in UPSC examination. So this question was asked in 2012. Take a look at this question. Lord Buddha's image is sometimes shown with the hand gesture called Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. It symbolizes. What does it symbolize? That's the question. Buddha calling of the earth to watch over Mara and to prevent Mara from disturbing his meditation. Take a look at the second statement. Buddha's calling of the earth to witness his purity and chastity despite the temptations of Mara. I told you, Mara tried to disturb Buddha in many ways, but it failed. So basically, statement B is an appropriate explanation of the Bhumi Sparsha Mudra. Bhumi Sparsha Mudra symbolizes Buddha calling earth to witness his purity and chastity. That's the point. So take a look at this statement once again. Buddha's calling of the earth to witness his purity and chastity despite the temptations of Mara. Anyway, take a look at statement C as well. Buddha's reminder to his followers that they all arise from the earth and finally dissolve into the earth, and thus life is transitory. So definitely this is an incorrect statement. Take a look at the D. Both statements A and B are correct in this context. Basically, A is not a correct statement at all. The only correct statement, the only correct answer for this question is B, because Bhumi Sparsha Mudra is a symbolic representation of Buddha calling earth to witness his purity and chastity. So basically, statement B is the right answer. I hope I am clear. So there are various mudras in which Buddha is represented, and this mudra is a very common mudra, and you should know the meaning of this particular mudra. So even in future a question of this type comes, you should still be in a position to answer this particular type of question. Fine. Take a look at the next question. So this question is also on another mudra of Buddha. So basically, I told you Buddha is said to have got his enlightenment at 35 years of age. Buddha got his enlightenment under a peepal tree located at Bodh Gaya. Bodh Gaya is the name of a place in Bihar. Buddha is said to have got his enlightenment at 35 years of age, and he is said to have got his enlightenment under a Bodhi tree. That's the point. And thereafterwards, Buddha is said to have traveled to Sarnath, where he is said to have delivered his first pravachan. From Bodh Gaya, Buddha is said to have traveled to Sarnath, where he is said to have delivered his first sermon. It is first pravachan. So therefore, the city of Sarnath is regarded as the birthplace of Buddhism. Buddha is said to have got his enlightenment in Bodh Gaya, which is the name of a place in Bihar. But Sarnath is the name of a place in Uttar Pradesh. So the Sarnath is located close to that of Varanasi. At a point. So Buddha is said to have delivered his first sermon at Sarnath. So this event of Buddha delivering his first sermon is described in the Buddhist literature as Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Dharma Chakra Parivartana. So the point is, this event of Buddha delivering his first sermon at Sarnath is referred to in the Buddhist literature as Dharma Chakra Parivartana. Dharma Chakra Parivartana. This is what is referred to. This is the name through which this event is referred to in the Buddhist literature. That's the point. So the point is, we have various schools of Buddhist art and architecture. Listen to this carefully. We have various schools of Buddhist art and architecture. One such school of Buddhist art and architecture is a school referred to as the Gandhara school. One such school is a school referred to as the Gandhara school. Basically, it's a style, it's a peculiar, it's a type in which Buddha was represented. It's a peculiar style in which the sculptures of Buddha were made. So basically, there are different schools of art and architecture in Buddhism. One such school is the Gandhara school. So in the Gandhara school, the first sermon delivered by Buddha at Sarnath is depicted in a peculiar mudra. In the Gandhara school, the first sermon delivered by Buddha at Sarnath is depicted in a particular mudra. The question is, what is this mudra called? I gave you a clue here itself. I told you that Buddha delivered his first sermon at Sarnath, and this event is referred to in the Buddhist literature as Dharma Chakra Parivartana. At a point. So the meaning of Dharma Chakra Parivartana is setting in motion the wheel of Dharma. Setting in motion the wheel of Dharma. The wheel of Dharma. That's the meaning of Dharma Chakra Parivartana. In simple terms, Dharma Chakra Parivartana translates to the attempt made by Buddha to propagate his teachings. Basically, Dharma Chakra Parivartana is nothing but the propagation of the teachings of Buddha. The propagation of the teachings of Buddha. I hope I am clear. So basically, I gave you a clue here itself. In the Gandhara school, the event of Buddha delivering his first sermon at Sarnath is depicted in one particular mudra. The question is, what is this mudra called? That's the question. That's the meaning of this question. Take a look at this question once again. Name the mudra which is represented by the Gandharan Buddha image of Sarnath's first sermon? So the answer for this question is Dharma Chakra Mudra. The answer for this question is Dharma Chakra Mudra. That's the point. Because I told you this event of Buddha delivering his first sermon at Sarnath is referred to as Dharma Chakra Mudra. To indicate this point is, this is how Buddha was represented in this particular mudra. That's the point. So this is basically the Dharma Chakra Mudra. So this mudra means the setting in motion the wheel of Dharma. So basically this mudra means setting in motion the wheel of Dharma. That is setting in motion the teachings of Buddha. Fine. So that's all for the day. In the next class when we meet, we will take up some other topic and continue with our discussion. At the point. So yes, Rehana, what doubt do you have? What doubt do you have? You may ask your questions. It seems Rehana Parveen is not there. Fine. Fine. That's all for the day. See you in the next class. But in case if any of you have any kind of doubts, you may ask questions. Fine. That's all for the day. See you in the next class.